All right. I'm going to feed the Omar in a way you'll actually be able to see, I believe, even though it's kind of far away. And I'm going to talk to you. I just got through telling you how this world is just like people are on edge, or people are mad, or whatever you want to call it, okay? Told you about the 16-year-old boy who went to the wrong house. Could happen to anybody. It was 115 Street versus 115 Terrace. He'd never been there. He was going to pick up his younger siblings, his 11-year-old siblings. I found out more tonight. What the hell? Just gotta keep something. Food or is it caca? Who knows? I don't know. Put your feet down. You know the drill. You know the drill by now. This is the makeshift high chair. I don't have hundreds to buy you a high chair to keep you from regurgitating, so my leg is the makeshift high chair, okay? No, sit up. Come on, sit up, Omar. Sit up. Sit up, honey. Sit up. Come on, sit up. Yeah. Yeah, yum. He didn't even open the door. It said oh, but I guess it was a glass. He says he didn't open the door. Maybe he didn't open the door the way he shot the 16-year-old kid through the glass door, I guess. But he said he feared for his life. Yada yada, whatever. I don't think that he. I think he's going to be going to jail. He's 84 years old, and you can't just go around shooting people. And I'm about to tell you, sit up. No, sit up, honey, sit up. I just got through telling you about that one thing that I bet a lot of you have heard about, because it's a national thing. It's like, it happened in Kentucky, Missouri. I mean, Kansas. It happened in it happened in Missouri, right? Yeah. Where I guess if you fear for your life, you are allowed to just, but it like I said, it just shows me people make mistakes. People will knock on people's doors for all sorts of reasons, I mean, you can't just blow people away for knocking on your door, But anyway, that's a horrible story, okay? And Inside Edition and World News Tonight are like, the guy turned himself in. He should be arrested. He shouldn't have to be turning himself in. That makes no sense. I don't understand that one. Anyhow, I don't even know what to say. I was already shocked about this one, okay? And now another one happened that's different, but it's the same thing, a mistake. Okay? This one happened to she's dead. The black teenager's not dead. This 20-year-old girl's dead. She was white, okay? And he was black and could have easily been dead, all right? But these things in this life, people, There are people that knock on the wrong door by accident. But in this other instance, oh my God. So the one happened in Missouri, okay? This one happened in a rural area of you sit up, a rural area of New York, okay? But I can tell you so easily, people can people turn around in people's driveways. People get lost. People turn down the wrong roads, okay? Like, you make a mistake and it can cost you your life. I mean, these kids went down, I mean, they're not kids, but you know what I mean. I call everyone a kid if they're in their 20s or whatever, okay? So these kids got lost, wound up going down the wrong road, one of those rural road things, right? Long driveways. I've known people that have long driveways, okay? They realized their mistake, went to turn around. The homeowner came out on his porch. Man, again, another guy. He was in his 60s. The other one who shot the black teenager, only 16, who just innocently going to the wrong house. But again, you can't just do that. People make mistakes. People turn down wrong driveways. People knock on doors sometimes just for directions or whatever. But anyway, he shot at the car as it was leaving, and killed the 20-year-old girl. She was there with 2 of her friends. One was her boyfriend, I guess, or 3 of her friends, something like that. She's dead. You okay? Huh? It's all gone. It's just left over. I just fed you an hour ago. This was just leftover. I split it up. I thought it might be a little bit too much to have at once. You need to keep it inside you. She's dead. She's dead. Her family is devastated. They're like, we'll never be the same. Her parents. She's dead. He shot at the car. They posed no threat. There's nothing his lawyer can say. They posed 0 threat. Okay? The 84-year-old man can sit there and say, okay, I mean, he's saying that, doesn't mean, but he can sit there and say, oh, well, I feared for my life, you know, the teen looked really big and whatever, and he was scared. And again, there's probably a racial component to it, okay? But someone who's that could probably do it even if the person was different. Anyway, these people just happened, they're white. He was the kid with the teenager that knocked on the door innocently looking to the wrong house. Can happen to anybody. Can happen to anybody. But pulling in the wrong driveway is going to get you killed? I mean, it's unbelievable. That guy had no excuse. He can't say he feared for his life. He can't say one fucking word about anything. You can't shoot at a car that pulls into your driveway by accident. People turn around in this life. People wind up in a rural place. They can wind up in the wrong. They can wind up. They can wind up in the wrong. Rural roads. Again, a long time ago, I knew someone. I forget where or when, but I've known of them. I've known of somebody who has like this long driveway, and it can look like a road, but it's actually your driveway, and people can turn down it by mistake, and then they have to try to go to the end to turn around. I mean, you don't expect to be killed. He shot at the car. He's nuts. He's nuts. He killed her. He's going to jail for murder. I mean, what is, like, he has to go to jail for murder. He can't say he feared for his life in any way, shape, or form. They were just driving down by accident. There's no excuse. He's nuts. I can't imagine nobody's ever accidentally turned down that road before, but anyway, she's killed. She's dead. And they had to go 5 miles to get 911 signal while she's bleeding to death. It was too late for her. She died in front. They're going to be traumatized too. Their friend just sits there and dies in front of them, and they were, they were probably in a state of shock. Just like if you're in like a horror movie or something, you're in a state of shock, but they have the car, you're going to get the hell out of there, Like, oh my God, I'm being shot at. We turned down here by accident. Is that not the most shocking thing? 20 years old, she was shot, she's dead, because they made a mistake. They made a simple, honest mistake. But I guess it was a simple, honest mistake made at night, and unfortunately, the mistake cost her her life. I don't know if she was driving. Okay. They sit there and say she drove. That doesn't mean she was driving. She was the one hit, but doesn't necessarily mean she was the one driving. They said, she made the mistake of driving down there. But she probably was not the one driving. Otherwise, if she shot, the car could have swerved, and isn't that shocking? So in The View, Whoopi was like, you make an honest mistake, it'll cost you your life. It could cost you your life. I mean, it's unreal. 2 in a row. Honest mistakes. That kid is severe, he could easily have been killed. The one where they're just in the car, they're nowhere near your front door, they pose no threat to you whatsoever, even if you're, you know what I mean? So him shooting at that car was just unreal. Unreal. It's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. Even the Inside Edition person was like, the girl didn't deserve to die. His lawyer's like, no. Oh, and he did a standoff too. So he didn't surrender. So he'll be in trouble even for that, He didn't even surrender right away. He had a standoff with the cops like for an hour or something, I guess. He's in his 60s. How do you do that? How do you shoot it? How do you do that? Does, people get lost in this life. People, whatever. Like I said, people are nuts. People are, I just, as an aside, I vowed this a while back for reasons, again, because this world is like, you never know who you're dealing with. But even in California, I told you, I follow all traffic signals. I'm not one of those people that doesn't, that just casually walks in the road. I mean, I look both ways when I'm at a crosswalk. I'm not talking about ones that have lights. I'm talking about a regular crosswalk where they're supposed to stop at both sides. You're on a street, the cars are supposed to stop at both sides at this regular crosswalk that has no lights or anything. They're just supposed to stop. You think I trust they're going to stop? No. Right? I follow all the traffic laws. I follow them to a T, okay? Here you're allowed everybody does it. I learned that when I was in the shelter, but everybody does, because I was trying. You don't have to walk down half a mile to get to a light or something. You're allowed to cross the street. That's what everybody does. In California, they didn't do that. You get a jaywalking ticket. Okay, different situation. So, but other than that, I follow all traffic things, like to a T. I pay attention, whatever, okay? So when people almost hit me, I used to, as some of you remember, I don't know who remembers this, but I used to stick my middle finger up at any car that is not paying attention and almost hits me, okay? I used to do that because it pissed me off. You know, you're almost hitting me. I have a walk signal. You're not paying attention. You're making your legal right turn on red, which you cannot do if I'm crossing. I didn't try to cross illegally. I'm waiting for the cross. And they'd almost hit me and not pay attention. You know, and yeah, I used to stick my middle finger up. That was years ago. Okay, it was before the pandemic, but I don't do that. I stopped doing that. I stopped doing that, I think, because I got a scare. I would only do it like usually like if I'm walking in the daytime, but it was broad daylight and I stuck my middle finger up at somebody who nearly hit me, a guy, and he wound up stopping and going off on me for sticking my middle finger up at him. Meanwhile, he's the one that nearly hit me. But it just shows you, it's, you know, it's not worth it. I could stick my middle finger up at the wrong person, male or female, you know, so I don't do that anymore. I stopped doing that many years ago. Like, you know, several years ago I stopped. But I used to. I did it in California too. You know, there were times that they almost hit me and Omar when we used to go out walking for miles. Yeah. When we were young one, we would walk for miles, wouldn't we? Yes, we would. We would walk for miles. We would walk for miles. You're an old man, Holmes. You're an old man. Grandma's old, and Mama's middle-aged. How about that? How about that? Because I still feel like a kid. Cal Burnett was on the extra thing, and she's like, what? Is she like 90 or something? Or 80, whatever she is. And she's like, I still feel like I'm 11. You know? Yeah. I know. So. Years ago I stopped, but I used to do that. These days I would never do that. In fact, these days I wouldn't even, if I'm out and even if it's daytime, if it's whatever, and if I'm tipsy at all walking, I'm not even going to sing out loud. I'm not going to call attention to myself at all. You know? Never. It wasn't that long ago I had to stop myself. Several weeks ago or something. Someone almost hit me in a cry. Something happened and I stopped myself. Stopped myself. My instinct would have been to stick my middle finger up, but I did not do it. I had control. Really pisses me off when cars, you know, drivers act like pedestrians don't exist, you know, and they don't look at the direction where there could be somebody walking on the sidewalk. They only looking to watch out if they're trying to get out of their driveway. Luckily, I pay attention to everything, or I'd be hit a million times. I don't just go. My mother, I can't say the same for her, so when we're walking, oh my God. Remember, we had to walk when we go to our eye appointment. We have to walk if we're trying to get to buses to get, we had to walk and got to watch out for my mom. She just doesn't pay attention. So the fact that she tried to walk to the fucking bank the day she wound up hospitalized, walk to the fucking bank when she's not even in her right frame of mind. She doesn't pay attention when she's in her right frame of mind, you know. That could have been very bad. Very bad. needless to say, I'm enraged and furious with the quote friend unquote who knows, yeah, my mom is you know better than to give her the friggin' taxi number. She tells you that she's going to California. When are you leaving? Today or tomorrow? As in you don't have a flight, you're getting a same day flight. Are you fucking moron, bitch? Ugh. I just can't take it. It's the stupidity of people. Like, you put my mom in danger. All right, sweet boy. That was the second half of your meal. Watched Inside Edition, then I fed you at 7:30, and I'll feed you the rest now. Okay. Probably feed you again in about an hour or so, maybe right before Will Trent comes on. Okay. Anyhow, how sad that you make a mistake, and I can't remember the details, okay? But I know there was some time recently, I forget what it was and I forget why, where I almost was like, you can't even knock on someone's door. I was gonna knock on someone's door. I don't know how recent it was. I was going to knock on someone's door for some fucking reason. To ask them something. Something to do with direction, something whatever, Now I wouldn't be afraid, because where I live, okay? But you can't knock on someone's door to ask where you are, direction, you just never know. You just never know. These two cases, one happened in New York and one happened in Missouri, okay? One happened to a black teenager and one happened to a group of white kids, and the 20-year-old white girl is dead, okay? And the black teenager was fighting for his life and still has a long road to recovery, since he was hit in the head with a bullet. And how do you get hit in the head with a bullet? He got hit in the head with a bullet. He suffered brain stuff or whatever, yet he managed to and then the guy shot him again in the arm. He's already shot him in the head. He shot him again in the arm. It's just ridiculous, like I said. And he actually got away from him. He could have easily been dead, too. It's just unreal. Watching me have not heard of these stories. You're hearing them now. They're unbelievable, and they happen back to back, like so timed within each other. That's why it's like not again. And that's like what beyond the review was like, my God, you make a mistake, it'll cost you your life. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. You wouldn't think it could happen. You just wouldn't think these things could happen, Someone knocks on your door, don't even answer the door. But the ones that pull in the driveway, we all do that. Everyone does that. Everyone's found themselves. Joe and I got major lost when we were trying to find the vets. He thought he knew where we were going. We were going like, when you get lost, you have to turn around, you have to pull into driveways. Sometimes you could pull down a street, you don't know where you're going, and it could be someone's long driveway that looks like a street. I mean, these kids were shot at and she's dead. She's dead. Unreal. There's no excuse. There's nothing that guy could give as an excuse, okay? He can't say he feared for his life. He can't say diddly squat, okay? He's obviously insane and he's gonna go to jail. I mean, he has to go to jail. He fucking killed the girl. Killed her. He's being charged with murder. It's senseless. There was no reason to do it, and nobody feels bad for him. I can't imagine anyone feeling bad for him. He had no excuse, none. The 84-year-old man can technically say, he said someone's knocking at his door at 10 o'clock at night, and I guess he looked out and saw it was this big, he doesn't know it's a kid. He thought he was trying to break in, and it is 10 o'clock at night. He's 84. He could at least say that, okay? I'm not excusing what he did in any universe, but he at least could say that. They're in a car, they're trying to turn around, and you shoot at the car and kill the 20-year-old girl? I mean, unfucking believable. I'm in shock. Like, it's unbelievable. He has no excuse whatsoever. None. Zero zilch. No excuse. He's nuts. He killed this 20-year-old girl, and there's no excuse for it. None. Apparently, the kids that weren't hit and aren't dead, who were in the car with her, 2 or 3 of her friends, like, he shot at them while they were turning around. They were leaving, and he shot at them. I mean, what the fuck? Who does that? Knowing you can hit someone and kill them and you're going to go to jail for murder. I mean, obviously somebody nuts. That's why I say this world's gone mad. I said it yesterday and now's another story. Unreal. Unfucking believable. Tell me that's not unbelievable. Like, it's unbelievable. Although these days I'll believe anything. I just got through telling you, that you just, people are on edge, people whatever. And we have a story that in terms of ridiculousness is even worse than the other one. Because the guy said, the kid was pulling on his door and he feared for his life, and he is 84 years old, okay? But the one shooting from his porch at the car that's trying to get away and kill, that's just unfucking fathomable. I'm sure all the nation's talking about that. You guys mostly have probably heard it already. It's unreal. It's just, she's dead. Unbelievable. Just mind-blowing. 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 I got 15 seconds.